Hey guys, how you doing? Okay, here we are, part two of Apollo. Share the screen. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking about how Apollo's absorbed all of these different, he's probably absorbed different gods or different concepts of a god. Maybe he's even maybe he's even absorbed concepts of a goddess. Oh my gosh. I mean, he is in charge of all the muses who are all female, right? He is, this idea. Well, I don't know, let's go back. But that's just something, I guess, to tuck in the back of our heads. So, one of the things we know that one of the things we know that he was able, that he did was when he when Greece became Greece, right? By the time of, as I showed you in that timeline in our last part one of Apollo, we had seen how Apollo had gone from maybe, not the name of Apollo, but the concept of Apollo may have come from Minoan Crete, right? And gone, it finally made it to the mainland of Mycenaean Greece, which would have been Sparta. Sparta's located near Mycenae in mainland Greece. And so this idea then of further up in north in mainland Greece is this beautiful, beautiful, exquisite place called the Oracle of Delphi. Now, there were some cool aspects of this beautiful sanctuary. There was a temple there, and then there were also all of these different buildings. All these different buildings created like a roadway of different treasuries of famous houses, as in famous families that basically had a bank, which was like their own little treasure trove right next door to the temple of Apollo, so that they could have their little sprinklings of offerings and honorings to the god whenever they liked, right? So they built these different little houses along the lane there. The other thing you would have seen would have been an agora, like a little marketplace or something, or where people would have come to talk. The mountains that surround the sanctuary of Apollo at Delphi are pretty magical, and they would have also served an earlier culture before Apollo, aka the Greeks as we know them. Before, there was another culture there, probably an indigenous culture of people that worshiped a goddess or goddesses, and they had on their and this is actually a picture of it, their own throne where the Sibyl or the woman who prophesied would sit. There's a little sign there that says this is the throne of where the predictor would sit and answer questions to any who wanted to know what was about to come true. By the time Apollo's people showed up, they changed the rules and the politics a little bit. And one of the things I'm going to show you is, well, first off, let's go back. This is what Apollo's temple looked like from the front and from the side, right? This is what they think it might have looked like a long, long time ago. See here, you would have walked up this road and come around and entered, and that would have been the front. All the way back here underneath the ground would have been a magical cavern. And this is what the Roman geographer Strabo said, that the seat of the oracle, and I'm going to explain that in a second, the seat of the oracle is a cavern hollowed down in depths from which arises a spirit or a vapor that inspires a divine state of possession. And then I'd already mentioned what Plutarch, the Greek priest, had written. So basically, a woman is sitting underneath the ground, and there is some kind of crazy vapor or gas Scientists have now proven it because of the way the tectonic plates are and different earthquakes happening. There would have been gas being emitted that would have caused this female oracle to shift her consciousness, or to be, another way to say it is to be drugged out. Plus, she might have done a little bit of, milk of the poppy, or, a little bit of the early ideas of opium or something. We don't know what's in that bowl she's looking at right now. But what's really cool is this picture right here. Check this out. This was on the floor where the female oracle sat. And right here is where her 3-footed chair was. And here is the hole where the vapor or the fumes would come through. Isn't that so cool?
Oh, I see. So it was attached to stay.
Yeah, scientific.
Pretty cool, huh?
What do they say about the vapors? I know that you named the ones coming out, but what happens to a human when they smell those vapors?
I don't have this. Nobody ever made this test.
So we don't know exactly what those vapors were. We do know, I will say there was kind of a different vibe, feel. I couldn't really tell, my nose was stuffed up. I was trying to see if there was like a smell in the air or something like that. I couldn't really tell. But basically, by the time of Apollo's people, aka the Greeks, came, this old ancient idea of the female prophetess sitting on a throne shifted, so that yes, she was still the one doling out wisdom, doling out ideas, but now they had a mediator, which was a male priest, so that when someone came from far away, months traveling to come see her, a priest of Apollo would be the one to greet them and say, "Hi, how can I help you?" Then the priest would go ask the question to the oracle, and she would say what the answer was, and who knows what she was saying. And that was to be interpreted by the priest. So you can kind of see where politics fit in. She might have just been spitting out whatever was in her mind, and then it was up to the male priest to be able to interpret it, possibly to his own advantage. Or the advantages of whatever politics were at play at this time period, right? So I think I've covered a lot with you there. I'm going to do a couple of more things. Oh, actually, I might have time to do it. The other thing that I want you to learn about is called the ancient omphalos. Omphalos also means navel. It's not the only one. This one's inside the museum. But even though we're not supposed to put our hands on it, I did. And there were other kids around. This is not my child. There's another kid. I said, he was really cool. I said, "What's going on? What do you think's in there?" And then he put his hands on and we listened. And it felt like a great big pregnant belly.
What are you feeling?
You know what? I'm feeling like this is really smooth on top. This is round. It feels like it's a pregnant belly. But it feels also not hollow inside, but it feels like it feels the way somebody touched my belly when I was pregnant.
That's kind of, sorry, that might be a little TMI there. But basically, this was a fabulous centerpiece for Apollo because it meant there's a lot of stories about it. Basically, it said, one story goes that this is the navel of the world. So Apollo's sanctuary was the very center of the world. Another story is that Zeus sent 2 eagles in 2 different directions into the world, and wherever they would meet would be where the omphalos would go, aka the center of the world. But the omphalos is important to know because it's very much associated, even though it's not the only one. It's certainly been around. Let's see, there's one omphalos they found was set on top of a little well of water. And in this well of water, they would do like this divination with the water when you moved the omphalos away. And then they also considered that water very special or very purifying. Let's see. I think that's all I really got for this one, guys. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. This was inside the museum. I'll just show you. These were different artifacts that were found inside the temple, as well as the different treasuries. That is, you know, the little banks along the way next to the temple. Just let you see that. So that was like a big statue there.
Like the Parthenon in Athens. So this was an offering by the Athenians to Delphi.
The Athenians sent this follows to Delphi.
And are they bees?
You can't really tell what they are,
Is that
but I've
what
heard they're
the
bees.
shapes are? Or are they flowers?
Flowers, maybe, who knows. Okay, and then essentially you can kind of see an earlier picture. So this was like the front of the temple, and here's the back. Underneath here, where the cavern was where the oracle would have sat. So here are sources, and this is by no means the sources like that I was just now showing you. This is all the sources we have for Apollo. Yeah, there might be more, and certainly there's more like the current writing, right? What I was referring to, but Plutarch, Homer, the Linear B writing system, the Homeric hymn, even though it's called a Homeric hymn, it came out around that time, but it wasn't written by Homer, just so you know. Sophocles, when he wrote Oedipus Rex, Oedipus Rex consulted the Delphic oracle, and she's the one who said to him, "You will kill your father and marry your mother." Strabo is the Roman geographer, and Aeschylus and Eumenides. Anyway, so these are, if you wanted to learn more and see more of Apollo, those are the original sources that should be available on your on Google. Sorry, if you Google it or online somewhere, it should be free to access. Okay, guys, thanks so much. If you have any questions, contact me. Thanks.